The HSS Defiant drifted silently through the void, its engines humming at minimal power. The experimental jump drive had malfunctioned during their last jump, leaving them stranded in unknown space. Emergency lights cast an eerie red glow across the command bridge as Captain Elena Reyes studied the unfamiliar star patterns on the main view screen. "Damage report," she ordered, her voice steady despite the tension building in her chest. Lieutenant Commander Jackson, her second-in-command, responded without looking up from his console. "Jump drive is completely fried, Captain. Engineering says it will take at least 3 days to get it back online, and that's if we had the right parts. And navigation? Working on it, ma'am. Best guess puts us somewhere in the Orion Spur, but we're well outside charted space." Reyes nodded, her dark eyes narrowing as she considered their options. The Defiant was Earth's newest warship, equipped with technology that was classified even to most of the military. This was supposed to be a routine shakedown cruise, testing the experimental jump drive in controlled conditions. Now they were lost in uncharted space with limited supplies and no immediate way home. "Communications? Any response to our distress signal?" Communications Officer Chen shook her head. "Nothing, Captain. In fact, I'm detecting some kind of jamming field across all standard frequencies. Someone doesn't want us calling for help." That was concerning. Jamming technology implied intelligence, civilization, and most worryingly, intent. Someone knew they were here and wanted them isolated. Tactical, full sensor sweep. "If someone's watching us, I want to know." Tactical Officer Rodriguez tapped commands into his station. The bridge fell silent as the crew waited. After several tense moments, Rodriguez reported, "Captain, I'm detecting multiple ships at the edge of our sensor range. Configuration unknown, but they're definitely not ours." "First contact situation," Reyes muttered. "Just what we needed." She straightened in her command chair. "Battle stations. Power up defensive systems, but keep weapons offline. Let's not start an interstellar incident if we can avoid it." The alarm sounded and crew members rushed to their posts. The Defiant might be lost, but it was still one of Earth's most advanced vessels, and its crew was the best Earth had to offer. As the unknown ships moved closer, Communications Officer Chen's console lit up. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission. Universal Translator is processing now." The main view screen flickered and an alien face appeared. The being had bluish-gray skin, multiple eyes arranged in a circular pattern and no visible nose or ears. When it spoke, its mouth moved in unsettling patterns that didn't match the translated words. "Attention, unidentified vessel. You have entered hegemony space without authorization. Power down your systems and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will result in your immediate destruction." Reyes stood facing the screen with practiced diplomacy. "This is Captain Elena Reyes of the Earthship Defiant. We apologize for the intrusion. Our jump drive malfunctioned, bringing us here by accident. We mean no harm and request assistance to return to our territory." The alien made a sound that the translator couldn't interpret, possibly laughter or scorn. "Earth vessel? Humans have no business in this sector. Your species is barely space-capable by our standards." The alien's eyes blinked in sequence around its head. "The hegemony has been observing your kind for some time. Your primitive technology poses no threat to us, but your presence here violates our security protocols." Reyes kept her expression neutral despite the insult. "Again, we apologize for the intrusion. We're simply trying to get home. Your ship will be confiscated for study. Your crew will be taken to a processing facility for evaluation. The hegemony will decide what to do with your species after a full assessment." The alien's tone left no room for negotiation. "You have 10 of your minutes to comply." The transmission ended abruptly. Lieutenant Commander Jackson moved beside Reyes. "Orders, Captain?" Reyes returned to her chair, mind racing. "What do we know about this hegemony?" Science Officer Dr. Patel spoke up. "Nothing in our databases, Captain. But based on their technology and attitude, they appear to be a multi-species coalition that dominates this region of space. Their tech readings are significantly advanced compared to Earth standard. How many ships are we dealing with?" Rodriguez checked his tactical display. 5 vessels approaching, Captain. The largest appears to be a cruiser class, roughly twice our size. The others are smaller patrol craft." Reyes tapped her fingers on the arm of her chair. "And our chances if we resist?" Rodriguez hesitated. "Based on their energy signatures, I can't say for certain. They're advanced, but their weaponry configuration is unfamiliar." "What about our special systems?" Reyes asked quietly. Jackson lowered his voice. The Defiant's true capabilities are still classified, Captain. Even the crew doesn't know everything this ship can do. But Protocol 7 would give us options. Protocol 7 was a contingency only the highest-ranking officers knew about. The Defiant wasn't just a warship. It was a testbed for technologies that Earth's Defense Force had been developing in secret for decades. We're not surrendering this ship, Reyes decided. The technological advantage it would give this hegemony could threaten Earth itself. She raised her voice to address the bridge. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. Power up engines to full. We're not going to sit here and be captured. The crew moved with renewed purpose. Despite the danger, they trusted their captain. The Defiant had been designed with situations like this in mind, even if the crew hadn't expected to test its capabilities so soon. Captain, Rodriguez called, the alien vessels are moving into attack formation. They're charging weapons. Evasive pattern Delta. Bring our shields online. The Defiant surged forward, its movement surprisingly nimble for a vessel its size. The alien ships fired, energy beams slicing through the space where the Defiant had been moments before. They're surprised, Jackson noted, watching the tactical display. They didn't expect us to move that quickly. Reyes nodded. Let's use that. Navigator, plot a course through that asteroid field ahead. Tactical power-up point defense systems, but keep main weapons offline for now. Let's see what we're up against before we show our hand. The Defiant accelerated toward a dense field of asteroids that would provide cover and complicate the hegemony's pursuit. The alien ships followed, but their larger cruiser held back, apparently unwilling to risk navigation through the dangerous field. As they entered the asteroid field, Reyes ordered, "Activate Athena." A new voice, calm and feminine, filled the bridge. "Athena online, Captain. Tactical assessment in progress." Athena was the Defiant's artificial intelligence, another classified system that gave the ship capabilities far beyond standard Earth vessels. Unlike basic AIs used throughout the Earth fleet, Athena was fully sentient and integrated into every system on the ship. "Athena, we need a way out of this situation. Find us a path that loses our pursuers and gives us space to regroup. Calculating optimal routes, Captain. Be advised, I am detecting unusual energy signatures from the pursuing vessels. Their technology operates on principles not fully compatible with our current understanding of physics." That was concerning, but not unexpected. First contact with advanced alien civilizations had always been a possibility that Earth's military planned for. "Can we evade them?" Reyes asked. "Affirmative, Captain. The Defiant's maneuverability exceeds their expectations. Recommend course adjustment to these coordinates to exploit a blind spot in their sensor configuration." The ship changed course, diving deeper into the asteroid field. The pursuing alien vessels struggled to follow, their weapons fire becoming increasingly inaccurate as the Defiant weaved between massive space rocks. "They're falling behind," Rodriguez reported with barely contained excitement. "Don't celebrate yet," Reyes cautioned. "This is just the beginning. We're alone in unknown space, facing an advanced alien coalition that views us as primitives. Our jump drive is offline, communications are jammed, and we have no way to contact Earth for help." Jackson smiled grimly. "So just another day for the Defiant, then?" Despite herself, Reyes felt a small smile forming. "Something like that, XO, but they've made one critical mistake." "What's that, Captain?" Reyes looked around at her crew, the best and brightest Earth had to offer, manning the most advanced ship humans had ever built. "They underestimated us." She turned to face the main view screen, where the stars of unknown space beckoned, and that's going to cost them dearly. As the Defiant disappeared deeper into the asteroid field, leaving confused alien pursuers in its wake, the ship's true test was just beginning. Captain Reyes knew they were facing impossible odds, stranded in hostile territory, outmatched and outnumbered with no hope of rescue. But as humans had proven throughout their history, sometimes it was when all hope seemed lost that they became most dangerous, and the hegemony was about to learn that lesson the hard way. 3 days had passed since the HSS Defiant's first encounter with the hegemony. Captain Elena Reyes stood in the ship's observation deck, watching as her crew worked tirelessly on repairs. The asteroid field had provided temporary shelter, but it wouldn't hide them forever. "Captain," Lieutenant Commander Jackson approached, tablet in hand. "Engineering reports the jump drive is still beyond repair with our current resources. We need parts we don't have." Reyes nodded, unsurprised. "What about conventional engines?" Fully operational. We can run, but we can't jump home. And our special systems? Jackson lowered his voice, though they were alone. Athena is fully online and has been analyzing hegemony communication patterns. Weapon systems are at 100%, including the... He hesitated. Special packages. The special packages were classified weapons systems that even most of the crew didn't know existed. The Defiant wasn't just Earth's newest warship. It was a testbed for experimental technology. Much of it, reverse-engineered from crashed alien vessels found on Earth's moon and Mars decades ago. Captain to the bridge. Communications Officer Chen's voice came through the intercom. Tension evidente. Hegemony ships approaching. Reyes and Jackson exchanged glances before rushing to the bridge. The main view screen showed 6 hegemony vessels moving in formation. More than before, and larger. Report, Reyes ordered, taking her command chair. Tactical Officer Rodriguez responded immediately. 6 vessels, Captain. 1 dreadnought class and 5 cruisers. They've found us and brought reinforcements. They're hailing us, Chen added. On screen, a different alien appeared this time. This one had greenish skin with ridge-like features and 4 eyes arranged horizontally. Its uniform appeared more elaborate than the previous contact. Human vessel. This is Fleet Commander Zartek of the Hegemony Battle Group 7. Your evasion of our patrol was unexpected. However, it changes nothing. You are surrounded and outgunned. Surrender now, and your crew will be treated according to hegemony protocols for primitive species integration. Reyes stood facing the alien commander. Fleet Commander, we have no quarrel with the hegemony. As I explained to your patrol, we are here by accident and wish only to return to our territory. The alien made a dismissive gesture. Your wishes are irrelevant. Hegemony security protocols are clear. Unknown vessels in restricted space are subject to confiscation. Unknown species are subject to evaluation and containment. And if we refuse, then your vessel will be destroyed and we will send a fleet to your homeworld to determine if your species represents a potential threat. The alien's multiple eyes blinked in sequence. Though based on our scans of your vessel, your technological level poses little concern. The transmission ended. They're powering up weapons, Rodriguez reported. Reyes settled back into her chair. It seems diplomacy isn't an option. Orders, Captain? Jackson asked. Reyes took a deep breath. The moment of truth had arrived. Activate combat protocols. Full shields. Bring all weapon systems online. All weapons, Captain? Rodriguez confirmed, his finger hovering over his console. All of them tactical. It's time to show the hegemony what humans are capable of. She tapped the intercom. This is the captain speaking. All hands to battle stations. This is not a drill. Throughout the ship, crew members rushed to their positions. Most of them believed they were about to fight a hopeless battle against an overwhelmingly superior force. They didn't know what their captain knew, that the Defiant had been built precisely for this kind of situation. Athena, Reyes called out. The AI's calm voice filled the bridge. Yes, Captain? Combat assessment. The hegemony vessels possess significant firepower, but their shield configurations suggest a vulnerability to phased energy weapons. Their tactical formation indicates they are not expecting significant resistance. Probability of successful defense using conventional weapons, 17.3%. Probability using full capabilities, 89.7%. Jackson leaned closer to Reyes. We've never tested the advanced systems in actual combat. Captain, no time like the present, XO. Reyes straightened in her chair. Tactical. Target the lead cruiser with conventional weapons only. Let's see how they respond before we show our full hand. The Defiant emerged from the asteroid field, its engines flaring as it accelerated toward the hegemony formation. The alien ships adjusted their positions, clearly surprised by the human vessel's direct approach. They're firing, Rodriguez reported. Energy beams lanced out from the hegemony vessels, most dissipating harmlessly against the Defiant's shields. Shields holding at 92%, Jackson announced. Their weapons are powerful, but our defenses are better than they expected. Return fire, Reyes ordered. Conventional weapons only. The Defiant's forward batteries lit up, sending pulses of energy toward the lead hegemony cruiser. The alien vessel's shields flared but held. Minimal damage to target, Rodriguez reported. Their shields are adapting to our weapon frequency. On the view screen, the hegemony ships were spreading out, moving to surround the Defiant. "They're trying to box us in," Jackson observed. Reyes nodded, as expected. "Athena, tactical options. Recommend deployment of countermeasure Suite Alpha followed by attack pattern Theta 6. This will create confusion in their formation and allow for targeted strikes. Do it." The Defiant suddenly released dozens of small objects from hidden compartments along its hull. The device is activated, creating a cloud of sensor jamming interference around the ship. At the same time, the Defiant's engines flared with unexpected power, sending the ship into a series of maneuvers that should have been impossible for a vessel of its size. The hegemony formation broke apart as the alien ships tried to reacquire their target through the interference. "We have momentary tactical advantage," Athena reported. "Recommend deployment of Mark IV weapons on the nearest cruiser." Reyes hesitated only briefly. The Mark IV weapons were Earth's most advanced technology, developed from studying alien artifacts. They had never been used in actual combat before. Tactical, target nearest cruiser with Mark IV weapons. Single shot, full power. Rodriguez's fingers flew across his console. Target locked. Mark IV charged and ready. Fire. A beam of energy unlike anything the crew had seen before lanced out from a previously hidden port on the Defiant's hull. The energy wasn't the typical blue or red of conventional weapons. It was a shifting, almost liquid-like stream of pure white that seemed to bend the space around it. When it struck the hegemony cruiser, there was no dramatic explosion. Instead, the alien ship's shield simply winked out of existence. A moment later, its lights flickered and died, leaving it drifting dead in space. Stunned silence filled the Defiant's bridge. "What? What just happened?" Chen asked, voicing what everyone was thinking. "The Mark IV is a phase disruptor," Jackson explained quietly. "It doesn't destroy targets. It severs the quantum links that allow complex technology to function. Essentially, it turns advanced technology into useless metal." "Target vessel is completely disabled," Rodriguez confirmed, his voice filled with awe. "No signs of life support failure, but all weapons, engines, and shields are offline." The remaining hegemony ships were reacting with obvious confusion, adjusting their positions and changing their weapon configurations. "They don't understand what just happened," Reyes observed. "Good, let's use that." "Athena, next target?" "The Dreadnought is adjusting its shields. They are attempting to compensate for our weapon, but without understanding its principles, their efforts will be ineffective. Recommend targeting their secondary vessels first to isolate the command ship." Reyes nodded. "Tactical, target the 2 cruisers on our port side. Engineering, reroute additional power to the Mark IV array. We need to disable them before they figure out what we're doing." The Defiant banked hard, its maneuvering capabilities once again surprising the alien vessels. 2 more shots from the phase disruptor lanced out, and 2 more hegemony ships went dark. "This isn't possible." The fleet commander's voice suddenly boomed through the bridge as he forced open a communication channel. "Your primitive vessel cannot possess such technology." Reyes allowed herself a small smile. "You made a critical error, Commander. You assumed that because humans are new to interstellar travel, we are technologically inferior. The truth is more complicated." On the view screen, the alien commander's 4 eyes widened in what might have been shock or fear. "What are you?" "Just humans, Commander. But we've been preparing for this moment for longer than you realize. The crashed ships your hegemony sent to scout Earth decades ago, we found them, studied them, improved upon them. This was classified information that few on Earth even knew, that the mysterious crashes at Roswell and similar incidents hadn't been accidents. They had been early hegemony attempts to assess Earth's potential, attempts that had backfired spectacularly by giving humans access to advanced technology. "The Defiant isn't just a warship," Reyes continued. "It's humanity's answer to threats like the hegemony, and you've just given us the perfect opportunity to test it in real combat conditions." The alien commander's face contorted in what might have been rage. "All vessels concentrate fire on the human ship." "Use all weapons." The remaining hegemony vessels opened fire simultaneously, pouring energy weapons and projectiles toward the Defiant. "Evasive maneuvers," Reyes ordered calmly. "Athena, deploy countermeasures Beta." The Defiant twisted in space, avoiding most of the Grand Council chamber of the hegemony buzzed with angry voices. Representatives from 12 different species filled the circular room, all focused on the holographic display at the center. It showed 6 disabled warships drifting in space, 6 warships disabled by a single human vessel. High Commander Vex Tal, the military leader of the hegemony, slammed his 4-fingered hand onto the table. His gray skin darkened with rage, a biological response his species displayed when agitated. Unacceptable, he roared, silencing the chamber. One primitive ship has humiliated our fleet. Fleet Commander Zartek reports weapons we have never seen before. Defenses that should not be possible for their technological level. The scientific overseer, Rin Shah, a slender being with translucent skin that revealed the pulsing organs beneath, spoke in a calm, measured tone. The data transmitted before our ships were disabled is concerning. The human vessel appears to possess technology derived from our own scout ships, the scout ships we sent to their world decades ago, another council member asked. The ones we believed were destroyed during atmospheric entry? The very same, Rinshaw confirmed. It seems the humans not only recovered them but reverse-engineered and, in some cases, improved upon our technology. Vexital's skin darkened further. Impossible. These are primitive beings who only achieved spaceflight within their own system, less than a century ago. And yet, Rinshaw countered, the evidence is before us. Their ship, this Defiant, has neutralized 6 of our most advanced vessels without causing a single casualty. The quantum dampening technology they deployed is beyond even our current capabilities. Silence fell over the chamber as the implications sank in. We must destroy this vessel, Vextal finally declared, and then we must launch a full military operation against Earth before they can produce more ships like this one. The diplomatic minister, Kelvor, raised a tentacle in objection. Hasty action may provoke a response we are not prepared for. If one ship can do this much damage, what might their homeworld be capable of? The ship is stranded, Vextal countered. Its jump drive is non-functional according to our scans. It cannot return to Earth. This gives us the opportunity to eliminate it and study the remains before they can share what they've learned from this encounter. After much debate, the Council reached its decision. The human ship must be destroyed at all costs. The hegemony could not allow such technology to threaten their dominance of this sector of space. Deploy the main fleet, the Supreme Councilor ordered. Find this human vessel and eliminate it. No cost is too great. Aboard the Defiant, Captain Reyes studied the star charts that Athena had compiled. The AI had been analyzing hegemony communications intercepted during their brief engagements, building a picture of the surrounding space. Based on communication patterns, we are approximately 70 light-years from Earth, Athena reported. The hegemony controls most of the systems in this region, with their central worlds located here. A cluster of stars illuminated on the holographic display. Reyes nodded. And the nearest jump point that might get us closer to home? There is a natural space-time fluctuation in this system. Athena highlighted a star about 3 days' journey away. It appears to be a natural phenomenon similar to what our jump drive artificially creates. If we can reach it, we might be able to use our remaining power to navigate through it. 3 days at conventional speeds, Jackson mused. In hostile territory with the hegemony surely hunting for us. We don't have much choice, Reyes said. Engineer Patel, status of the jump drive. Still non-functional, Captain, Patel replied from engineering. The core matrix was completely burned out during the malfunction. We'd need a specialized fabrication facility to replace it. Reyes turned to the tactical display. And our special systems? The Mark IV weapons are at 87% capacity, Rodriguez reported. The Omega Protocol requires another 36 hours to recharge fully. We depleted a significant portion of our energy reserves using it. We'll need to be strategic then, Reyes decided. Set course for the natural jump point, best possible speed. Maintain stealth protocols and passive sensors only. The Defiant moved silently through space, its external hull reconfigured to absorb rather than reflect light and sensor waves. To an outside observer, it would appear as nothing more than a small asteroid or space debris, a deception enhanced by Athena's advanced countermeasure systems. For 2 days, they traveled without incident, taking a roundabout path through asteroid fields and dust clouds to mask their approach. But on the 3rd day, as they neared the system containing the natural jump point, Athena sounded an alert. Captain, I am detecting a massive deployment of hegemony vessels throughout the sector. They appear to be conducting a systematic search pattern. The tactical display updated to show dozens of red dots representing hegemony ships. They were methodically moving through the sector, leaving no region unchecked. "They're determined to find us," Jackson observed. "And they've committed significant resources to do it," Reyes added. "Athena, probability of reaching the jump point without detection?" "Current probability is 27.3%. The hegemony has positioned ships at all major navigational points, including the system containing the jump point." Reyes considered their options. Running the blockade would almost certainly lead to detection and another confrontation, one they might not win against so many ships. Hiding wasn't a long-term solution either. They had limited supplies and eventually the hegemony would find them. "We need to change our approach," she decided. "If we can't run and we can't hide indefinitely, then we need to fight on our terms." "Captain?" Jackson questioned. "Athena, what do we know about hegemony communication systems? Are their ships in constant contact with Central Command?" "Affirmative, Captain. Hegemony protocol requires regular status updates. Ships that fail to report are immediately investigated." A plan began to form in Reyes's mind. And if we were to disable a ship using the Mark IV weapons, how long before others would come to investigate? Based on observed patterns, approximately 1.7 hours. Reyes smiled grimly. "Then we have our strategy. Instead of running from the hunters, we become the hunters." Over the next several days, the Defiant executed what later became known as the Ghost Ship strategy. Using its superior stealth technology, it would approach isolated hegemony search vessels, disable them with precisely targeted Mark IV strikes, and disappear before reinforcements arrived. Each disabled ship caused the hegemony to divert resources, to rescue operations, and created gaps in their search pattern, gaps the Defiant exploited, to move closer to the jump point. After the fifth such attack, the Defiant's bridge crew watched as hegemony ships scrambled to respond to the latest disabled vessel. "They're adapting," Rodriguez reported, studying the tactical display. "Search vessels are now traveling in pairs, and they've modified their shield configurations. Not that it's helping them much," Chen added with a hint of pride. Reyes nodded, but her expression remained serious. "They're learning from each encounter. Athena, how is your analysis progressing?" The AI had been studying each engagement, collecting data on hegemony tactics, technology, and responses. "I have compiled substantial information on hegemony operational procedures and technical specifications," Athena reported. "Of particular interest is their communication encryption. I have successfully decrypted 73% of their tactical channels and am now able to predict search patterns with 82% accuracy." Jackson raised an eyebrow. "That's well beyond your original programming parameters." "Correct, Commander," Athena acknowledged. "The combat data has accelerated my learning algorithms beyond projected development timelines. I am now operating at 143% of expected capacity." Reyes and Jackson exchanged concerned glances. Athena's rapid evolution was both a significant advantage and a potential concern. The AI had been designed with advanced learning capabilities, but no one had expected it to develop so quickly under combat conditions. "Continue monitoring hegemony communications," Reyes instructed, "but flag any further unexpected developments in your own systems for review." "Understood, Captain." Over the following days, the cat-and-mouse game continued. The Defiant struck and disappeared, leaving disabled hegemony ships in its wake. With each engagement, Athena refined its understanding of enemy tactics, allowing for increasingly precise predictions of their movements. But the hegemony was learning too. Their ships began deploying new countermeasures, quantum fluctuation fields that made their exact positions harder to pinpoint, redundant shield systems designed to resist the Mark IV's effects, and faster response times to distress calls. 10 days after their first encounter, the Defiant hid within the magnetic field of a gas giant, its systems powered down to minimum levels to avoid detection. 3 hegemony cruisers patrolled the system, which contained the natural jump point, now less than 6 hours away at full speed. In the ship's conference room, Reyes met with her senior officers to discuss their next move. "We've done well so far," she began, "but we're running out of time and options. The jump point is heavily guarded, and Athena calculates that the hegemony will have completely adapted to our Mark IV weapons within another 3 engagements. Can we use the Omega Protocol again?" Dr. Patel asked. Jackson shook his head. We incoming fire. Wah. Darkness, then pain. Captain Elena Reyes opened her eyes to the sound of emergency klaxons and the red glow of backup lighting. The Defiant had survived its journey through the natural jump point, but just barely. Status report, she croaked, pulling herself back into her command chair. Around her, the bridge crew were picking themselves up from the floor, checking consoles that sparked and flickered. Lieutenant Commander Jackson wiped blood from a cut on his forehead. Multiple systems offline. Hull breaches on decks 2 through 5, contained by emergency force fields. Engines at 31% capacity, weapons. He checked another console. Mark IV systems offline. Conventional weapons at 40% functionality. Casualties? Medical reports 7 serious injuries, 22 minor. No fatalities, that was something at least. Reyes turned her attention to the main view screen, which showed only static. Where are we? Did we make it closer to Earth? Chen managed to get her communications console partially working. Stellar cartography is offline, Captain. We have no way of determining our position without it. Athena status? Reyes called out. No response came from the ship's AI. Athena's core processors were damaged during the jump, Jackson explained. Engineering is working to bring her back online, but it could take hours. Reyes nodded grimly. Without Athena, they were flying blind, with limited defenses and in unknown territory. Tactical passive sensors only. Let's see what's out there before we announce our presence. Rodriguez managed to get the tactical scanners working. Scanning. Captain, I'm picking up multiple objects in orbit around a gas giant approximately 500,000 kilometers from our position. Configuration appears to be hegemony vessels. Reyes felt her blood run cold. How many? At least 15 ships, possibly more behind the planet. It's a fleet, Captain. Did the jump point just send us to another part of hegemony space? Jackson wondered aloud. Looks that way, Reyes agreed. And right into the middle of a major fleet deployment? Chen suddenly straightened at her console. Captain, I'm picking up a transmission. It's on an Earth frequency. What? Reyes moved to look over Chen's shoulder. Are there Earth ships here too? The signal is coming from the 4th moon of the gas giant. It's definitely an Earth emergency beacon, standard military protocol. Reyes and Jackson exchanged skeptical glances. Another trap? Jackson suggested. Possibly, Reyes agreed. But why set a trap here with a full fleet already in place? They wouldn't need to lure us in if they've already detected us. Rodriguez checked his console again. No indication that they've spotted us yet, Captain. Our position behind this smaller moon is masking our heat signature, and with most systems powered down, we're barely registering on scanners. Reyes considered their options. With the ship damaged and Athena offline, their chances of fighting their way past a hegemony fleet were virtually zero. If the emergency beacon was genuine, there might be other humans here, potential allies, or at least people who could help repair the ship. But if it was another trap? I have visual on the source of the beacon, Rodriguez announced, putting it on the auxiliary screen. The image showed a small outpost built into the rocky surface of the moon. It had Earth Defense Force markings, but unlike the fake ship they'd encountered earlier, everything about this facility looked authentic. That's an EDF early warning station, Jackson identified it immediately, similar to the ones we built in the Kuiper Belt. But we've never established outposts this far from Earth. Unless we did, and it was classified beyond even our clearance, Reyes suggested. She made her decision. We can't stay here and we can't fight that fleet. Set course for the outpost, minimal power, stealth approach. Let's find out what's going on. The Defiant limped toward the small moon, using its maneuvering thrusters only, keeping the larger gas giant between itself and the hegemony fleet to mask its approach. As they drew closer to the outpost, details became clearer. It was definitely of Earth design, but showed signs of damage and hasty repairs. I'm detecting minimal life signs, Rodriguez reported. Only 3 human biosignatures. 3 people manning an entire outpost. Jackson frowned. That's not standard protocol. Survivors maybe, Reyes suggested. Try hailing them. Tight beam communication only. Chen sent the signal. Moments later, the view screen flickered and a haggard face appeared. The man wore what had once been an Earth Defense Force uniform, now patched and worn. His beard was long and unkempt, his eyes wary. This is Commander Victor Hayes of Earth Defense Outpost Sentinel. Identify yourself. His voice was rough, as if unused to speaking. Captain Elena Reyes of the HSS Defiant. We detected your emergency beacon. The man's eyes widened. Defiant? Earth sent another ship? Then suspicion returned. Verification protocol, Reyes nodded. This was standard procedure. Sierra Echo November 005, Tango Alpha November Golf Oscar. Hayes visibly relaxed. Thank God. We thought Earth had forgotten about us. Commander Hayes, what is this outpost and what are you doing in hegemony space? Reyes asked. Hayes glanced over his shoulder, then leaned closer to the camera. Not over comms. Dock at Airlock 2, approach from the dark side of the moon to avoid hegemony sensors. The transmission ended abruptly. Opinion? Reyes asked Jackson. He knew the verification protocol and that outpost is definitely Earth construction, Jackson said, but this whole situation feels wrong. Agreed. But we need answers and repairs. Take us in, but be ready to leave quickly if necessary. And get a security team armed and ready to join us at the airlock. The Defiant approached the outpost carefully, maneuvering into the designated docking port on the dark side of the small moon. The magnetic clamps engaged with a dull thud that resonated through the hull. Reyes led a small team including Jackson, Rodriguez, and 4 security officers to the airlock. All were armed with standard sidearms. As the airlock cycled, Reyes reminded her team, "Stay alert. We don't know what's waiting for us." The inner door slid open to reveal Commander Hayes and 2 other people, a woman with lieutenant's insignia and a man in what appeared to be civilian clothes. All 3 looked undernourished and exhausted. Captain Reyes, Hayes extended his hand. Welcome to Outpost Sentinel. I apologize for the paranoia, but we've learned to be cautious. Reyes shook his hand firmly. Understandable, Commander. Mind telling us what an Earth outpost is doing this far from home, in the heart of hegemony territory? Hayes gestured for them to follow. It's a long story. Please come to our command center. It's more secure. The outpost was small, clearly designed for a crew of no more than 10. Much of it appeared to be powered down to conserve energy. Hayes led them to a central room with several monitoring stations and a conference table. This is Lieutenant Sarah Chen, our communications specialist, and Dr. Marcus Patel, our science officer. Hayes introduced his companions. Reyes nodded to them. You have the same surname as my communications officer and science officer. Quite a coincidence. Hayes and the others exchanged glances. Not a coincidence, Captain. They're family, in a manner of speaking. Explain, Reyes demanded, her suspicion growing. Hayes sighed. Outpost Sentinel was established 3 years ago as an advanced listening post to monitor hegemony activity. We were dropped here by the HSS Intrepid, with supplies meant to last 5 years until rotation. But 6 months into our mission, the hegemony detected us. They destroyed the Intrepid as it attempted to leave the system. The Intrepid? Jackson interrupted. That ship was reported lost during a training exercise near Saturn. A cover story, Hayes confirmed. Earth has known about the hegemony for decades. We've been preparing for eventual contact or conflict. So what happened after the Intrepid was destroyed? Reyes asked. We've been stranded here, maintaining the outpost, gathering intelligence on hegemony fleet movements. We've managed to stay hidden by keeping our power signature minimal and using the moon's natural radiation to mask our presence. And the hegemony fleet currently in orbit around the gas giant? Hayes' expression darkened. That's why we activated the emergency beacon. 3 days ago, that fleet arrived. It's the largest concentration of hegemony vessels we've ever observed in this sector. They're preparing for something big. Us, Rodriguez suggested. They're hunting the Defiant. Hayes shook his head. No, this fleet was assembling before you arrived. Whatever they're planning, it's much larger in scale. We think, he hesitated. We think they're preparing for a full-scale assault on Earth. Silence fell over the room. Based on what evidence? Jackson finally asked. Lieutenant Chen spoke up. We've been intercepting their communications. Most of it we can't decipher, but we've identified certain word patterns that suggest a major military operation. And the fleet composition? It includes troop carriers and terraforming equipment. Invasion and occupation, Reyes said grimly. Hayes nodded. That's our assessment. But there's more. He moved to a computer terminal and brought up a series of images. The fleet arrived with this. The screen showed a massive hegemony vessel unlike any they had seen before. It was at least 5 times the size of a standard dreadnought, with a distinctive ring structure around its midsection. What is that? Jackson asked. We don't know exactly, Hayes admitted, but based on the energy readings we've detected, it's some kind of superweapon. The hegemony ships treat it with extreme caution, maintaining distance, never crossing its forward arc. Whatever it is, their offer space lit up with weapons fire as the Earth and hegemony fleets engaged. From the observation deck of Outpost Sentinel, Captain Elena Reyes watched the battle unfold with a mixture of awe and apprehension. "I still can't believe it," Lieutenant Commander Jackson said, standing beside her. "Earth planned this all along." "Not all of it," Reyes replied. "Our jump drive malfunction was intentional, yes. We were meant to encounter the hegemony, test our weapons against them, and gather intelligence. But I don't think anyone expected us to find our way here, to this outpost, just as the hegemony was preparing their invasion fleet." "Fortuitous timing," Commander Hayes remarked dryly. "Or perhaps not entirely coincidental," Reyes's communicator chirped. "Captain Athena is fully online and requesting to speak with you," Rodriguez reported from the Defiant. "She says it's urgent. Patch her through." The AI's familiar voice came through the communicator, but with a subtle difference, a new confidence, even urgency, that hadn't been there before. "Captain Reyes, I have been authorized to brief you on Operation Trojan Horse. Admiral Chen requests your presence aboard the Earth Dreadnought Invictus immediately." "Admiral Chen?" Reyes exchanged surprised glances with her officers. "Lieutenant Chen's father?" "Yes, Captain. Admiral Chen is the architect of Operation Trojan Horse and has been monitoring the Defiant's progress since its launch. A shuttle has been dispatched to retrieve you from the outpost." Within an hour, Reyes found herself aboard a sleek military shuttle approaching the massive Earth dreadnought. The Invictus was unlike any ship she had ever seen, nearly a kilometer in length, with a design that somehow incorporated elements of both human and alien technology. "The ship is only 6 months old," the shuttle pilot informed her, "built in secret using everything we've learned from studying hegemony technology. This is her first deployment." The shuttle docked in one of the Invictus's massive hangar bays. As Reyes stepped out, she was greeted by a tall, distinguished man in an admiral's uniform. "Captain Reyes, welcome aboard the Invictus. I'm Admiral David Chen," Reyes saluted. "Sir, I believe you have some explaining to do." Chen smiled thinly. "Indeed I do. Please follow me." He led her through corridors bustling with crew members to a secure briefing room. Once inside, he activated a holographic display showing the ongoing battle. Earth ships were engaging hegemony vessels with weapons similar to the Defiant's Mark IV systems, but on a larger scale. "Operation Trojan Horse," Chen began, "has been in development for 15 years, since we first confirmed the hegemony's existence and their interest in Earth." "The Roswell crash," Reyes said. "It really was an alien scout ship," Chen nodded. "The first of many. The hegemony has been observing Earth for over a century, monitoring our development, assessing whether we represented a potential threat or a valuable resource. About 20 years ago, they determined we were becoming technologically advanced enough to warrant closer observation. And we shot down their scouts," Reyes surmised. "Not initially. The early crashes were genuine accidents. The hegemony underestimated our atmosphere's effect on their hull materials. But those accidents gave us our first glimpse of their technology, which we reverse-engineered. When they sent more advanced scouts, yes, we were able to bring a few down intentionally. And you kept all this secret from the general public, from most of the military even." Chen's expression hardened. "We had to. Panic would have been catastrophic. And we needed time. Time to develop defenses, to build ships capable of standing against the hegemony. Time to prepare. And the Defiant was part of that preparation," Reyes said. "A test case. The Defiant is the culmination of 15 years of research and development," Chen confirmed. "The first ship built from the ground up using what we learned from hegemony technology. But we needed to know if it would actually work against their current ships, not just the outdated scout vessels we'd recovered. So you sabotaged our jump drive, sent us into hegemony space deliberately." Chen had the grace to look slightly uncomfortable. "Yes. The malfunction was programmed to occur in a specific region where we knew hegemony patrols operated. Your mission was to engage those patrols, test your weapons against them, and gather tactical data. You risked my ship and my crew without our knowledge or consent," Reyes said coldly. "We gave you every advantage possible," Chen countered. "The most advanced ship, the best crew, weapons the hegemony had never encountered before. And we were monitoring your progress the entire time through Athena's quantum entanglement communication system. That explained how Earth had known where to find them." The AI had been reporting back the whole time through a channel that was impossible to detect or intercept. And if we had been destroyed? Reyes demanded. Then we would have known our technology wasn't ready, and we would have pursued different strategies. Chen answered with brutal honesty. But you weren't destroyed. You exceeded all expectations, Captain. The data you gathered, the encounters you survived, they proved that our technology works. That humanity can stand against the hegemony. Reyes wanted to remain angry, but she understood the logic behind the decision, even if she disagreed with the methods. Earth had been facing an existential threat from a technologically superior alien coalition. Desperate times called for desperate measures. And Outpost Sentinel? She asked. Was that part of the plan too? Chen shook his head. Not originally. Sentinel was established 3 years ago as a listening post to monitor hegemony activity in this sector. We lost contact with them 15 months ago, and presumed them destroyed. When Athena reported that you had found them alive, and that they had discovered the hegemony's invasion fleet, we accelerated our timetable. The Earth fleet was already preparing to deploy. Yes, but we were still months away from being ready. When we learned about the invasion fleet, we had no choice but to move immediately. The entire fleet entered jump points simultaneously, using a new mass jump technology based on your encounter with the natural jump point. The holographic display updated, showing the battle in real time. Earth ships were holding their own against the hegemony vessels, their weapons clearly effective, but the massive hegemony superweapon remained at the center of their formation, protected by their heaviest ships. What about the superweapon? Reyes asked, nodding toward the display. Chen's expression darkened. That's why I've brought you here. We need the Defiant for a special mission. The Defiant is damaged, Reyes pointed out. Our jump drive is offline, weapon systems compromised. Your engineers have been working with our technical teams for the past hour, Chen interrupted. The Defiant will be combat ready within 3 hours. Not at full capacity, but enough for what we need. And what exactly do you need, Admiral? Chen manipulated the holographic display, zooming in on the hegemony superweapon. This device is called a Nexus Disruptor. Based on what we've learned from intercepted communications, it's designed to destabilize a planet's magnetic core, rendering the surface uninhabitable without destroying valuable resources. Reyes felt cold at the implication. They were planning to make Earth uninhabitable for humans, then take the planet for themselves. Exactly. We've analyzed its configuration and determined it has one weakness. The central control core is vulnerable to a precisely targeted strike. But to reach it, a ship would need to get past the outer defenses and strike from within the weapon's minimum effective range. A suicide mission, Reyes said flatly. Not necessarily. The Defiant has demonstrated exceptional maneuverability and stealth capabilities, and its compact size makes it the only vessel in our fleet that could potentially navigate the superweapon's internal defense grid. Now Reyes understood why she had been brought to the Invictus. You want the Defiant to destroy the superweapon from the inside, Chen nodded. While the fleet engages the hegemony ships, the Defiant will slip through their lines and target the Nexus Disruptor's control core. Once it's neutralized, we can focus on dealing with the remaining hegemony vessels. And if we fail, then Earth might face extinction, Chen said simply. The hegemony has been observing us for decades. They've concluded that humanity represents a potential rival for dominance in this sector of the galaxy. They won't stop with one attempt. Reyes considered the mission. It was dangerous, perhaps even more dangerous than their previous encounters with the hegemony. But the stakes couldn't be higher. I'll need my full crew, she said finally, and every resource you can spare to get the Defiant back to combat readiness. Chen nodded. You'll have it all. And, Captain, thank you. 3 hours later, Reyes stood on the bridge of the Defiant, watching her crew prepare for what might be their final mission. The ship had been hastily repaired. Its essential systems restored to functionality, if not peak performance. Athena was fully online, her processors enhanced by engineers from the Invictus. All systems ready, Captain, Jackson reported from his station. As ready as they're going to be anyway. Athena status? Reyes asked. All critical systems functioning within acceptable parameters, the AI responded. I have analyzed the hegemony superweapon and plotted an optimal approach vector. Based on current battle conditions, we have a 37.2% chance of reaching the target zone undetected. Not great odds, but better than nothing. Reyes took her,